Since the beginning of the closed beta, I've been running many different tests for countless of hours to find the most efficient way to make a ton of gold in Palia. Everyone needs money in the long run, and you better know how to get it as quick as possible to upgrade your backpack, unlock new blueprints to make even more money. Hey, what's up guys, it's your man Foriam again, back with a new video for Palia, my ultimate money making guide, in which I'm gonna show you everything you need to know. I'm gonna cover different farming routes and advanced money making tricks to maximize your profits, while I'm also going to address some not so efficient methods which people claim to be the best. So without further ado, let's get right to it. First off, I'd like to say a huge thanks to you guys for the incredible positive feedback on my previous videos. If you enjoy my content, it would be amazing if you could take a second to leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments down below, as you have no idea how much this helps out the channel. Cheers! Alright, so let's begin with some myths as well as inefficient farming methods I've seen a lot on YouTube in the past couple days. By now, we all know that bug catching is not at all a efficient way. It's also extremely boring, not fun to make money with, so it's not worth talking about in this video. I'm sorry guys, it's simply the way it is, and the same counts for foraging and mining, which are actually even worse to make money. Don't get me wrong though, these are amazing skills which you want to level up on the side, as the resources which you find with them are required for the most efficient farming methods. But they simply don't earn you much gold per hour, so we're not gonna talk about them. Anyways, assuming you've come prepared with the right tools for the job, let's cover the top tier moneymakers. There is one blueprint I quickly want to talk about as well, which you can unlock from Einar, the recipe Fisherman's Brew. I see some people claiming that this is the best way to get a ton of money in Palia, but unfortunately it's not. The craft requires emerald carpet moss as well as crystal lake lotus, which you can find especially around the Fisherman's Lagoon. Plenty of lotuses can be found, as well as along the coastline in the south. Along this road, you can pick up some carpet moss as well, while the highest density for this resource is right here. It took me about 5 minutes to get my hands on 10 emerald carpet moss as well as 10 crystal lake lotus, but let's craft 10 of them, which represents basically the value which we got in that time. As you can see, you will get regular quality Fisherman Brews, but sometimes also star quality ones, which can be sold for more money. We were pretty lucky, got 2 more star qualities right here, and 2 more regular ones. So if we drop everything in the shipping bin, you can see that we have a total value a little bit over 1000 gold. If we multiply this amount by 6, we get a total value of 6510 gold per half an hour. Unfortunately though, this is not how it works, as these resources need time to respawn, which might even be half an hour. Nice resources to pick up on the side and craft while you're doing some other tasks, but not worth your time. The first one on the list is fishing, a pretty popular profession which can make you a nice amount of gold, especially towards the end game after you've unlocked the glowworm farms. To make your fishing trips as efficient as possible, you of course want to unlock the exquisite rod to have more line health and also be able to move faster when reeling in fish. For this method, we're not going to use any bobbers, instead only focus on using the glowworms, as these allow you to catch the highest value fish in the game. In terms of fish value, it doesn't really matter where exactly we fish, as you can find similar high quality fish in both Bahari and Kalima village. While it does make a difference if you have other people fishing next to you, because this will actually give you a fishing bonus to increase your speed. That being said, I decided to travel to the Pebble mines, as this is a place where you can usually find other people. So let's take out our fishing rod and right click to equip our glowworms. Right now, we also want to include our timer overlay. So this is going to be a 30 minutes on the Windows clock. So yeah, let's start the fishing. I'm going to click start and throw in the bait. So the timer just went off. I'm gonna dismiss this one. But there we go. We used almost 75 glowworms. If we open up our inventory, you can see that it's pretty filled up, while it still has a couple spaces left. Anyways, now the value which we've caught. You're probably very curious right now how much all this fish is worth. We also got our hands on one waterlogged chest, which we can open for even more loot. So let's do that. We got our hands on, wait a second, a makeshift umbrella. You know what? I'm just gonna place it right here. I think it looks pretty fancy. But yeah, let's just throw everything into the shipping bin. So we've got the stonefish. These are worth 80. We've got some blobfish, rare ones 112, 75 right here. We've got 150 value and 205. So if we throw in everything at the same time, including the high quality ones, you can see that we've caught about 7,000 gold worth of fish. I don't recommend you to do this though, as you want to get the most out of these farms. I quickly want to show you guys how you can make even more money by just spending a couple minutes cooking the fish. As you can see, stonefish has a value of 80. If we cook 2 of them together, it's a value of 160, which will also translate to the value of the dish. However, there is a small chance that your cooked fish will become star quality. So it becomes a higher value as well. Look at that, we've cooked 500 meals right now. But out of the 5 dishes, we already have 2 star quality ones. Voila, that literally took us just a couple minutes. Right now we have plenty of cooked fish as well as 1 regular fish. So we can sell all these. So if we check out the shipping bin and drop all the fish, including the single raw fish in there, you can see that we've boosted the value by over 1,500. A pretty impressive yield for just catching fish. Next up, we have Sernuk Hunting. This is my hands down favorite way to make a ton of money in Palia without losing your mind, as you're actually doing something that is a lot of fun. And of course, you're also doing this for the end result to see how much money you can make in 30 minutes. So what I recommend you to do is only bring 4 stacks of standard arrows. You're going to have a total of 400 arrows, which is going to be perfect, I think, to fill up 4 slots of inventory. You also want to bring some food with you to level up a little bit faster with your hunting skill. Before you leave on your hunting trip, you also want to double check if your bow is on full durability, if it's already upgraded. But it's very important to know that your bow does not boost your damage output. Only the arrows do, while if you want to have extra range, a better bow is recommended. Alright, so here we are in Kilima village. It's currently 10 PM in-game. If we open up the map, what I recommend you to do, I already made a full guide for this, is to get to the Whispering Banks, the eastern part of the map, where you want to do a rotation. Follow the road just like this. Alright, so this is where we start. I'm also gonna add the timer. You want to equip your bow, right click for equipping your standard arrow, and now we can basically start the timer. In some cases, you will not be the only person who is hunting down Sernuk, and that's probably because of my hunting video in which I explain how much money you can make with this. But in this case, you don't want to worry too much, as you can actually still make a ton of gold while you're farming next to other people. All right, we only have 30 seconds left, as well as 20 arrows. So I'd say a pretty nice calculation for a half an hour worth of farming with the right amount of arrows. So the timer is up, so we're only gonna loot the final treasure, which we found right here. This is basically the result. So if we open up our inventory, you can see that our bow is still intact. It didn't break after shooting almost 400 arrows. So I think after 500 arrows, it's probably gonna degrade in quality. But we also leveled up twice with our hunting skill. But this is all the treasure we farmed in the past 30 minutes. You can see that we've got a decent amount of Sernuk antlers, including the rare ones, as well as one older Sernuk antler, which I don't recommend you to sell. Instead, use it for crafting those hunter horns to track down magical creatures a little bit easier, but also some mountain morals, which are going to be amazing for crafting. So also don't sell these, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to do that right now. So 400 arrows, I think for 30 minutes is going to be amazing. Right now, we're just going to stash everything in here and see how much this is worth. All right, so look at that. We made almost 10,000 gold in half an hour. So that means almost 20,000 gold in a full hour. And I didn't even try hard. And the crazy thing is we haven't even processed the hides yet or cooked the meat, which can boost the sell value even further. But cooking the meat is definitely recommended as it will also increase your cooking skill. All right, so we've cooked all the meat, as you can see right here, except for this piece, but that's totally fine. You shouldn't really care about processing the leather though, as it literally takes you 5 minutes to make one. So if we throw every single item in here right now, you can see that 50, 100, 200, 250, 276 hides right here. So if you do that times 13, that's a value of 3,588. Well, if you do that times 15, it will be worth 4,140. So just a couple hundred more, while it's gonna take hours and hours to process all the loot. So now you probably understand why hunting is my absolute favorite way to make a ton of gold in Palia. It's simply the best way to get rich quick, both early, mid, and late game, while you also want to focus on farming. I cannot stress this out enough. Gardening is essential if you want to make a ton of gold on the side passively while you're out on an adventure in the wild. I recently even started to exclusively plant tomatoes, which in my opinion give the best possible yield, both for cooking, which we're going to talk about in a second, but also to keep my glowworm farms and seed makers going 24/7. As if we interact with these bad boys, you can see that if we place star quality tomatoes in there with a value already of 34, we also get star quality seeds in return. So these not only sell for a lot of money, but if you replant them, boy oh boy, you can literally get rich quick. Because I have so many potatoes, I don't even know what to do with them anymore. I can keep my glowworm farms going with this 24/7 as well. So yeah, if you absolutely love fishing and want to have the highest quality bait in the game to find the most valuable fish, well, gardening is going to be essential for you. It's going to take a couple real life hours before your crops are fully grown, but once they are, boy oh boy, you can reap the rewards. So you just have to be a little bit patient to make some extra money passively on the side while doing your adventures. Hunting, fishing, whatever you want to do. When you get back home, get to your farm and harvest all the crops. In this case, exclusively focused on all the tomatoes, you can see that I have a ton of plants right here, which also give me an amazing yield because of the yield boost fertilizer. And it seems like there were still about 3 to 4 tomato plants which were not fully grown yet. You can tell that we have a lot of them in our inventory right now, so you are probably curious for how much these bad boys sell. So we have some knapweed, value of 130, but a stack of tomatoes, star quality, is already 1,000 gold. And look at that, this gave us a passive income of almost 7,000 gold while we were fishing and hunting. I even missed a couple plants which weren't fully grown yet, but you can tell that this is a very interesting extra way to make a lot of money on the side. So now, after all that fishing, hunting and gathering, you're probably also wondering if it's also worth using your resources to cook dishes instead of selling them. And I can say, yes, this is very much recommended. I did a little bit of cooking with my brother, and this is even more efficient. It can literally make you a ton of extra gold with the right dishes. All right, so if we interact with the stove, you can see that we have different dishes, and the higher end the dish, the more resources you're gonna need. While I totally recommend you to first focus on the hearty vegetable soups, not only for early and mid game, but also for late game, as these are so easy to make, it's almost cheating. The starting ingredients are just any type of vegetable, as well as some spices, which you can find all over Kalima village and Bahari, while the second ingredient is a mushroom. We can find plenty of these mushrooms during our Sernuk hunt, so this is going to be an amazing one to keep for the cooking as well. In the bottom left, you can also tick on quality ingredients, and with our farming, we are literally making hundreds and hundreds of star quality tomatoes. So right now we can start a dish with this setup, which I recommend you to make the most gold, and it also says it requires 1 minute of cooking. But if we press make right here, you can see this little timer in the top right there, so we don't really have to use a timer manually or a clock. But the only minimum game which we're gonna have to do right now is chopping the mushrooms, which literally takes seconds. So now we are almost done. We're gonna cook the dish by stirring a little bit into the pot, and that will basically make this dish within 30 seconds. As you can see, we've got a high quality hearty vegetable soup with a 150 focus. I think this is an amazing one to quickly replenish it, while you can also sell it for 135 because you make 3 every time you do this. Right now, we're gonna apply some simple math. After 30 seconds of cooking-ish, maybe even less, you're gonna have 135 gold. Do that times 2 and you will have 270 gold per minute. Do that times 30 for half an hour and you will have 8,100 gold, which I think is an amazing amount for just casually cooking inside your base. Of course, you're gonna have to gather the resources before you can do this, but not only is this nice for selling, but it's also a fantastic dish to quickly boost your focus. I'm still using this a lot in the end game as it's very easy on the resources and quick to make. Now we're gonna take things to the next level and host a cooking party. You can do this with 2 people, so you only need to find one person who is willing to make a ton of gold with you. This time I recommend you to focus on the veggie fried rice, a slightly more difficult dish to bake, while it's going to be extremely simple with 2 players. You only need the cooking oil as well as eggs, which you can get your hands on in the general store as starting ingredients, but then you basically want to decide on who brings the rest of the ingredients. So I would say one person chops onions as well as garlic, while the other person focuses on chopping carrots and making rice. This time you will have 2 minutes to complete the dish. It sounds like a lot, but it's slightly more difficult. While if you're doing it with 2 people sharing the tasks, boy oh boy, you'll be able to finish this one in no time. I did this for a nice amount of time with my brother and we landed on a consistent 40 seconds cook time per dish, while you get 3 of them every single time when you complete this mini game. The total sell value would be 261 gold, and do that times 3 and you will have your value per 2 minutes. This is 783 gold to be exact for just 2 minutes of cooking, while if you do that times 15, you will have the value per half an hour, which is a whopping total of 11,745 gold, ladies and gentlemen. So over 10k gold for half an hour cooking with your buddies. Do that times 2 and you will have a total of almost 24,000 per hour. So I think this is an amazing way to make a ton of gold if, of course, you have the resources for it, because this doesn't come for free. You're gonna have to do a lot of farming for it in advance. So now the conclusion to the best way to make a ton of money in Palia. There are different ways to do so, and it really depends on what you prefer. Hunting is still by far the easiest way to gain a ton of gold early game, and of course if you're farming solo. While if you're not a huge fan of hunting or simply want to have a more relaxing method to make a ton of gold, then I think fishing is gonna be amazing, while you need to do some gardening on the side. Promise me that every time when you get back to your base, water your plants, put some new seeds in the ground, because passively this is going to make you a ton of extra resources or gold in the long run. Especially if you use the goodies for cooking, which you can do both solo and multiplayer. But as I already explained, if you do it multiplayer and have all the resources ready, boy oh boy, making those dishes together, sharing the tasks in the kitchen is probably going to be the most profitable way. And the more people you have in your party, the more you share your resources. So there you have it. Everything you need to know to maximize your profits and become filthy rich in Palia. I'd love to know which methods you've been using before watching this video and what you plan on doing next. And yeah, if you have more money-making tips for the community, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. Right now though, it is 4 AM out, and again, it would mean the world to me if you can leave a like if you found this video helpful. Good luck with your money-making adventures. I'll see you in the next video or live stream. Peace.